All right, so good morning once again. Thank you for the opportunity to learn and to interact. Earlier, we've discussed extensively on the challenges bedeviling performance management system, and it's quite insightful to hear from every single person. I've heard you all speak on the challenges, on the practices, on the uniqueness, on the methods adopted in various organizations in dealing with the subject of performance management. Last time, we've looked at the disruption in the performance management system, and I'm happy that we are all, changing the conversations and regenerating the methodologies by which we manage performance in our organization. This morning, I'll be speaking on what has gone wrong with PSC. I mean, when I say gone wrong, I'm not about the BSC model, but why is it failing in many organizations? Why are we having issues in the implementations, in the deployment of balancing scorecard? And because I'm trying to create an inclusive conversation, so it does not matter whether you are adopting BSC software or you are adopting BSC model, but the idea is, how do we reinforce and strengthen performance management system in our various organizations? It does not matter whether your business system is big or large or small or medium. As I said earlier, it doesn't matter whether you are adopting, fully a deployed technology or partial, or you are still, in the manual process. But what is critical is that even though we advance and advocate that it is better to fully launch into technology because we are now in a digital era, but if your organization has not been able to implement fully digital performance management system, how best can you still manage your performance system in driving impact in your organization? In particular, with regards to balance scorecard, because I can say almost everyone here, you are using balancing scorecard, not just as a model, but the software. Now, in 1990, David Norton and Kaplan came together and said, we want to reinvent performance management system. We think there's a model that can be simplified and easy to adopt, easy to apply, easy to deploy. And then in 1992, this guy were able to publish on Harvard, and this became a major selling point for the global corporations and businesses. Balanced scorecard was adopted, and then up to today, over 20 years, balanced scorecard has been doing tremendously well in various corporations. As I mentioned earlier, leading corporations, global corporations, more than 70% of these corporations in the Fortune 100, Fortune 500 adopt balanced scorecard. There will be something unique about this scorecard. There will be something peculiar and outstanding about this instrument that does make them to adopt it. Now, as students, as leaders, as managers of human resource, how do you support your organization's adventure or investiture in this journey of performance management system? It is important to define that as a system, as a business organizations, there are stakeholders. So I titled it Stakeholders Battle. In the battle of stakeholders, every stakeholder is expecting their own value. We call it stakeholders value proposition, not just shareholders. In the past, we call it shareholders. But today, it's not just shareholder, it's stakeholders value proposition, meaning every stakeholder has expectation. Investors have expectations. You know that. They have put down their money and they want returns. They want expansions, more money. Employees have stakes. They want better careers, better rewards, remunerations, good place to work, fulfillment, growth. Customers want expectations too. They want satisfaction. They want quality. They want consistency. They want reliability. And they want speed. They want recognition. Communities, the host communities also want expectations too. You are in our community. We host you. You are in our country. We host you. We want to provide us employment, provide us social, interactions, interface. We want to see your social responsibilities as a host country, as a host community, as a host city. The government wants stakes or own stakes. Government wants what? Government wants things too from you. Government wants revenue. Government wants taxes. They want to pay taxes. These taxes are used to fund and to propel and to develop the community and the society and the system and to maintain the country. Competitors want to outsmart you, take you off the market. unseat you, beat you out. So as you look at all these stakeholders, they have expectations in the organization. And because of their expectations, it compels on the business to drive how do we advance the role and the place of performance as a system. Why? We exist to solve problems. We exist to meet obligations. We exist to add value. Why? We believe that if we solve problems, money will come. We believe that if we satisfy customers, there will be returns. We believe that if our customers, our employees are happy, they will perform. We believe that if we are able to satisfy the government, they will give us license to operate. We believe that when we are able to interact with our ecosystem community, they will give us license and liberty and privilege to operate, and they will give us personnel. We believe that when we are able to deal with our vendors and partners together, they will also co-create value with us. So as you see the volunteers, and as you see the complexities of expectations of various stakeholders, it therefore behoves on business entity to define their performance arena. We cannot perform without first understanding the role of the board, or the governors, or the management, or the formators in performance management system. So if you look at a system, small, big, medium, multinational, national, transnational, global, whatever you are, there is a body, a theme of board of directors. And so the governors, their role is, how do we define the business entity? How do we define the business expectations and existence? So they do this formulate strategy. They define the uniqueness by which the business is going to operate, the modalities and the models is going to adopt in defining and achieving its goal. They define policies. They define the oversight. They provide oversight function for the business. And that oversight is what gives the business the leverage on how we are able to operate as a business that has what? Accountability. The business defines accountability to all the stakeholders. So when you see the board responsibility, it gives you the broad outcomes. What will be the outcome? Ethical culture. We want to operate ethically. We are not going to operate illegally. We're going to operate against the norms and the provisions and the context in which we define our business mandate. They provide excellent performance. Why? That's why we are existing. We do what we say. We deliver the value and the mandate. And then to ensure that we are performing, we are operating, they provide what's called effective control. Why do we need to control? Because the business has to operate within jurisdiction. It has to operate within milieu, within guidelines, within systems, within directions. And then they provide legitimacy. We are going to operate within the framework and the provisions of the law. And that takes us to why is scorecard imperative, important, and significant in this journey. Now, as Kaplan and Dave came up with this mandate, they came up with a model that tries to simplify business operations into four major areas. And in this quadrant, you will see that they talk about financials. That is to say, a business will grow financially, a business will perform financially, a business will succeed financially when it's able to do these three things. Number one, the business is able to strengthen its internal processes, business processes. Oftentimes, people mistaking processing for document. No, document is not a process, and process is not a document. The process means the flow, the interrelationship in the link, the interactions, the patterns, and the activities linear interface between point 1 and point 2, between point A and point B, between the polarities. That is what processes means. It means the flow and the calibration of how things operate within an ecosystem. Organization is an ecosystem. Look at a human being, for example, now. The flow from the blood, from the veins, to the arteries, to the arteries, to the polaries, to the liver, to the kidney, how it circulates and how they operate from the blood flows. That is what you call processes. So BSC understands that you cannot get financials if the internal activities and the internal play out in your system is not able to connect and simplify and harness the flow of what you stand to do as a business. So as you domesticate your department and unique and functions and department and portfolios and individuals, there must be a flow and interactions. That is what processes is. So from the processes, you can have 4 P's. The first is the process, the flow. The second is the people who handle the flow. Are they enough? Do they have the competencies and capabilities and the passion and the interest? And then you look at the policies, the bundle of the processes documented and validated in form of your standard operating procedures or process manuals. And then you have the practice. That is the outcome. The outcome of your process and people and policy shows and reflects in your practice. That's what BSC is saying. And so he said that if you're able to tidy up your processes and the flow and the outcomes and the impact and the interrelationship, then you will learning. Why are we learning? We are learning to get better. We are learning to improve better. We are learning to add value. We are learning to grow and to support that, okay, what we used to do before has grown, has changed, has improved. The stakeholder expectation is shaping us. Customers' expectation is shaping us. Employee is shaping us. Investors are shaping us. Government is shaping us. Competitors are shaping us. Communities are shaping us. As we see this, we look at the drivers, the architectures, and we are picking one by one. What are we not doing well? What do we need to change? What are we changing? Why are we changing? We look at all these variables, and they are provided with learning and growth and better approach and better outcomes. And it says when we develop internal processes effectively and we learn from the past, from the mistakes. We learn from competitors, from government, from communities, from employees, from investors, from the changing social environment, and then there'll be customer satisfaction. So from financial to internal processes to learning and to customers. When the customers are happy, why would they be happy? They'll be happy because you have a very strong internal processes, and two, you're learning